Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Man City versus Brentford. Oliver, Man City playing before Arsenal this weekend, which could be important. We've seen a couple of weeks or last week Arsenal go 6 points clear before Man City played again, and then Man City slipping up in that game against Everton, the field draw. How big could that be? I mean, first of all, what do you make of it? Having looked like you were going to lose, and then salvaging 1 point could maybe be an important point, but still a hammer blow to be dropping points this late in the title race.
Yeah, exactly. I was at this game. It was a crazy sort of topsy-turvy game, very entertaining. A game that City bossed for the whole of the first half. Were deservedly in front with that wonderful goal from Doku, and then after the break, City just seemed to lose their way a little bit. A couple of defensive mishaps proved costly. Um, City just switching off defensively, and a couple of other decisions maybe went against them. A couple of refereeing decisions maybe, but despite all that, City did find a way to snatch a point at the death. And Haaland scored his 25th Premier League goal this season. Then Doku scored another worldie right at the end, last minute of the game. I think Doku, he was brilliant all night. He's hitting form at an important moment for City. 6 goal involvements in his last 5 appearances now, and I'd be surprised if he didn't start on the left again this weekend. And I think from this game, I think a lot of City fans will come away from it with sort of mixed emotions because they'll be happy to have seen City fight back in the way they did to come from 3-1 down with 10 minutes to go. Who knows how important a point could be? You'd still think Arsenal are the favourites now, of course, to win the league. But yeah, ultimately, that goal, that the goal was to claim 3 points, and there will be a strong feeling of disappointment now that the title race is out of their hands. So it's not over until it's over, of course. Haaland said that after the game. Guardiola suggested that too. But yeah, Arsenal are certainly in the driving seat now to win this title. City will do their best to bounce back and beat Brentford on Saturday, and a win would reduce the gap at the top to 2 points. And then they'll be praying that West Ham, fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table, can claim something from that game against Arsenal and frustrate the Gunners in the way that they frustrated City in a 1-1 draw in London in March. So, yeah, City, they've just got to do their bit now. They've got a strong record against Brentford, 5 wins and a draw in the last 6 games. So, yeah, they'll fancy the chances of winning, but who knows what it'll actually mean come the end of the season.
Yeah, Matt, it was strange to see Man City almost collapse in that Everton game and just in the blink of an eye go from leading to trailing 3-1. Very unlike City, and also very unlike City when if you go back a few weeks to when they beat Arsenal, everything looked to be heading in their direction. They had the momentum. Usually they just grab these title races by the scruff of the neck and just don't let up. Seeing that let up, seeing even though they kept winning, pretty unconvincing win against Burnley, pretty unconvincing win against Southampton in the FA Cup. It has, yeah, it's not been the City that we've come to know in the end of the title race in the last potentially few weeks when they seem to have the advantage.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the Arsenal versus West Ham preview, I don't think it's a particularly fantastic Man City team. I'm just not sure you can trust them. This is why, late on in the season, have they got another drop points in them, even if Arsenal were to obviously drop points against West Ham. But it was a crazy game, wasn't it? I thought when they went 1-0 against Everton, I thought they'd be in there. And I agree with Oliver. I think Doku's been really good recently. He was always one that you weren't really sure, were you, how good he was? Obviously, physical attributes, enormous, but everything else was, a little bit hit and miss. But coming together now, and he's really saved them in that game, hasn't he? 2 beautiful goals in that game and you never know how big that point could be. That they were down and out, and the loss really damaging. The draw is obviously really damaging as well for Man City, but as you know, you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen. They've got to go and win this game, and then obviously, like Oliver says, pray that West Ham can pull a big result out of the hat and take it to obviously the next week. But I hope for the title's sake that there is a bit of a swing this weekend. Not because Ben probably thinks I've got a bit of an agenda against Arsenal, but it's not that. I do want to see this go to the wire if possible, and I think a lot of neutrals, if you can call anyone neutral, want that to be the case. So yeah, I am hoping that Man City get the result they need in this game.
We did
Yeah,
say a couple of weeks ago, Matt, that you wanted Man City to win the league over Arsenal.
Yeah, but that's no reflection on how I feel against Man City because I can't stand them as you'd expect. But it's just probably the lesser of two evils at this stage. But again, neither's ideal. So
yeah, Ben, we discussed in the Arsenal preview how Arsenal have got West Ham this weekend, and then Burnley and Crystal Palace, which are two games you'd really expect them to win. Man City have obviously got Brentford this weekend. Then they also play Crystal Palace. Then the FA Cup final thrown in the mix as well before the end of the season, whereas Arsenal's Champions League final comes after the end of the season. Then a tricky away trip to Bournemouth, and then playing Aston Villa on the final day of the season. It's a tougher end to the season on paper. They need to win all those games. And obviously, as we've discussed, it's out of their hands. Even if they do, they need Arsenal to slip up in one of those three very winnable fixtures that Arsenal have got.
They do, yeah. And looking back at that Everton game, I was obviously watching it very intently. And even when Doku scored that amazing equaliser, as soon as it left his foot, you knew it was in. But there was just, I wasn't perturbed at all. I mean, City picking up 1 point compared to no points, it makes little difference to me, and I think to all Arsenal fans, because it's Arsenal in full control. And that fixture list that you mentioned, City, they have got the FA Cup final in there, but it is against the worst former team in the league in Chelsea, so you'd expect they'd win that quite comfortably. But there is a draw versus a defeat for City in the Everton game made little difference for Arsenal, because we just need to get over the line in these three very winnable three final games, maybe even two if City do slip up again. And I've got full confidence that Arsenal will do that. It's a surprise to see City, I think, implode is a fair word to say in the Everton game. You know, they did implode a little bit at the back, especially Mark Gahey, very shaky display from him. And it's a City side that you always associate with just winning every single game from like April, May. They're a sort of a springtime juggernaut, Man City usually. So maybe they just did feel the pressure a bit in that game. And to Arsenal's benefit, it was a beautiful watch.
Yeah, and Oliver, just obviously most of the focus is going to be on Man City for obvious reasons in this game. But just a quick word on Brentford. Got the win to end a winless run last time out. There still, we've spoken about that cluster of teams pushing for European football. Be an incredible season if they get European football, so they do still have things of their own to play for.
Yeah, I think it'd be great for Brentford. As I think we've said a lot of times, they've been overachieving this season considering what's happened. Last summer with Keith Andrews coming in, no one really gave Brentford much of a chance. So for them to be in this position at this stage of the season, is quite remarkable, really. They had a 6 game winless run, 5 draws and 1 defeat. So it's sort of, people question whether they actually would get over the line and get into Europe, but they've ended that run by beating West Ham 3-0 last weekend. So that was an important win, really, a much needed win to boost the hopes of getting into the top 7. And again, against City, they will be underdogs, but they've a lot of games between Brentford and City have been quite even. They've often been quite tight. I think City's 8 victories over Brentford since 1997 have all been by either a 1 or 2 goal margin, 5 of those by 1 goal. So Brentford have put up a fight in a lot of those games. They've beaten City not long ago at the Etihad a couple of years ago. I remember Ivan Toney scoring twice in a 2-1 win. So they've got it in the locker to pull off an upset here. So City, yeah, they have to be on it to perform at their best if they wish to claim all 3 points. But it won't be. I don't think it'll be a straightforward fixture, this one, considering how City have come away from the Everton game and Brentford bouncing back with their win. So it might be a tighter game than people may think, and City will of course be favourites. But yeah, could be a tricky one for City.
Yeah, on that point of tight games, I think I saw a stat that it's the opponent Pep Guardiola's averaged the fewest goals against Pep Guardiola teams since he came to Man City. So they could put up a fight, and with Thiago at the other end, they've got a player who can hurt Man City if Man City aren't scoring a bucket load of goals as well. So lots to watch for on both sides in that one. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Thank you guys. Please remember to like and subscribe, and you can find the full preview for this game over on sportsmole.co.uk.